Ugh. Okay, so it's time to talk about the boys, Jared and Jensen. Okay, so the first one I saw was Jared, and so I saw Jared Saturday because I was not aware of the fact that his sister was also at the hotel doing a book signing, and I was not aware of this fact, and so I was like, whatever, I don't know, and I think that I heard like rumors around that like Jared was there, and I'm like, yeah, right, whatever, Jared's not here, and so I did see a sign somewhere in the hotel saying like whatever his sister's name was, like it had like Padalecki on there, and I was just like, whatever, that could be a common last name, and there's no coincidence. And so Mary was bitching at me that she needed to charge her phone. I told her to just go in the bathroom, sit on the really comfy chair or couch that I passed out on that day. I was like, just go in there and charge your phone. And she's like, no, I'm going over by the cardboard cutouts. And I was like, fine. And then, so I'm standing there with the cardboard, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm standing here waiting for her to charge her phone. I'm hungry. And, oh my god, Mark Shepard just posted a picture on Instagram. I'm sorry. Anyways, it better not be a wedding photo, or I'm gonna cry. Every time he posts a picture now, I'm just like, am I gonna sit here and cry? Send a picture with you and your woman. Anyways, so I was like standing there, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting here. I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. I just want to go get some food because I was tired. I didn't sleep the night before. Like after karaoke night, I was just like, I'm wide awake for, like, I didn't sleep a wink that night. I stayed up doing BuzzFeed quizzes all night on Mary's couch while she snored. And so I hadn't slept. I was hungry. I was off my caffeine kick, and I was just like, I need more coffee. And I was hungry, and I was tired. I was like, I just want to eat. She's like, I need to charge my phone. I'm like, fine, whatever, you can charge the fucking phone. I don't care. We were standing there, and then these girls were like, oh, hey, can you take our pictures in front of the cutouts? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I take her phone, and I, like, go back a couple steps, and I'm like, okay. And then I noticed that, like, Misha's looked life-size, like, height-wise. And I was like, okay. But then, like, Cass was like this, and then Sam was like that. And I'm like, no freaking way. I'm like, Jared is way taller than that. Like, there's no way. And then I feel this hand on my shoulder, and I was like, because there was a guy, like, following me around all weekend, and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I fucking told you, leave me alone. I was like, okay, you fucking asshole. And then I hear, I am taller than that guy, and I'm like, the voice didn't register in my head whatsoever, because I was just, like, mad, and I'm like, this fucker, like, why does he touch me? I told him to leave me alone. I turn around, I'm like, you fucking It's Jared. His hand is, like, basically on my boob, because his hand is so big, so it's, like, this, over my, on my shoulder, and I'm like, I turn around, and I'm like, oh shit, I just called him a fucking asshole, and, like, my jaw's on the floor. Everyone behind me standing there, like, Mary, my friends, these girls I was taking a picture, their jaws were on the floor. And he was like, and he, like, ran away giggling, and he was in his stupid white beanie that I love so much. And so he ran away giggling, and then we see a security guard, like, handlers run after him, and then 2 seconds later we see this gaggle of girls run by. They're like, did you see Jared? Which way did he go? And we're like, ah. They're like, ah! And they run after him, and I'm just like, Jared Padalecki Jared Tristan Padalecki just touched me. It scared me, and I called him a fucking asshole. But anyways, so that was Saturday, and so that was all I ever saw. And then he, like, crashed I think he crashed, like, Richard in the middle of his talking about how amazing he is. He crashed their panel. It was like, hey guys! And, so then Sunday happened. Sunday we got there, like, 4 hours early. Like, I don't know, like, by the time we got there, there was, like, 5 hours until the panel, like, Jared and Jensen's panel even started. It was 5 hours, and we're like, we're gonna, like, I had this irrational fear of, like, we have to get, like, the night before, I was like, we have to get there early, or we're gonna miss them. Like, I had this irrational fear of, like, if we were like 10 minutes late to the convention, we were just gonna miss everything, right? I was like, we have to get there early. We told Mary's dad, we need to get there early, because I didn't have my driver's license at the time. But anyways, so we got there really early, and we were like this to the door during like the gold panel, and we're like, they're in there, oh my god. And so when their photo op actually happened, we were 137th in line, which 37 is my lucky number, and I freaked out because I was like, we got my lucky number. I'm like, everything's gonna be amazing. I got my lucky number. It's gonna be great. And Mary's like, you're so superstitious. And I'm like, I am Irish. I am allowed to be superstitious. I'm extremely superstitious. And so we were standing in line, and I think the girl's name was Tara or something like that. And she was behind us, and she was so sweet, and I really loved her, and she was just so nice, and she was really nervous too. And she had flower crowns, and I ended up finding her picture on Instagram, and I'm like, your picture was so cute. I really wish I could have found, like, there were so many people that I was like, oh my god, like, we talked, like, all weekend, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm just like, who? Well, I'm like, hello, it's me, like, no one, like, I miss all the people from CCon a lot, and, so, like, I wasn't shaking as bad as I was with Mark, but I was, like, really nervous. I was like, I'm like, we're gonna be standing, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, they're not in my TV. I'm like, they're in real life. I'm breaking the fourth wall. I'm like, like, they're not in my TV. And I was super excited, and, like, I was, like, excited, nervous, like, I was, like, I'm gonna, like, what's the word for park and rec, but I can't remember, but I was, like, oh my god. And so I was, like, when we were, like, outside the hall, because, of course, it, like, the door was here, like, here was the door for the, like, this was the door, this was the inside of the room. It, like, wrapped around like this, and, like, all the way down this hallway. And we were, like, standing in the way of, like, where the pool was, so, like, all these people in, like, swimsuits always kept walking by. Because we were in a fancy hotel, there was, like, these models that were staying there, and I was like, like, give me body issues. Why don't you? Like, go put on a robe. And so anyways, but, like, when we got into the room, like, I was just like, I can't look at him. I cannot look. Like, like, we walked in there, and I'm like, nope, I'm not looking, they're not really here. And so we get up onto the line, and the lady was like, okay, you're next. And I'm like, oh god, like, this was, like, kind of like with school pictures where that line is. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I couldn't look up. I was just like, like, they're right there. I mean, of course I took, like, peeks, and I was like, Jensen. And so we finally get up there, and the lady's like, okay, your turn. My head snaps up. I look directly at Jensen. Jensen looks at me. He opens up his arms, and I'm just like, I squealed. Like, have you ever seen that video of, like, Misha during that panel, and that girl screamed and it sounded like a whistle? I think that's what I sounded like. I booked it as fast as I could over there, like the fastest I've ever ran in my life, and I knocked him over. And I felt really bad, and he like laughed it off. He was totally fine, and he was like, how much do you weigh? And I'm like, you don't ask a woman that, Jensen. And we got up, and he was like, are you okay? And he, like, had his hand on my shoulder, so I was like, touch me all you want, I don't care. And then, so, we got our photo op taken, and then, they were like, how's it going? And I'm like, you're talking, but I don't, like, on the inside, like, my heart was, like, telling me that I needed to, like, freak out, but my brain was like, brah, I got this, like, oh, well, I'm fine, Jensen, how are you? And I was like, and Jared. But the worst part is, like, when he asked me that, I, like, looked into his eyes, and it was like no one else was in the room. Like, it was just me and Jensen. It was, like, that magical, like, princess moment, and I was like, is he gonna ask me to marry him now? And then I was like, actually, I'm like, Jared, and I, like, finally recognized his existence for once that whole day, and I'm like, Jared, you scared me yesterday, I called you a fucking asshole. And Jensen, like, laughs. He was like, that's because he is one. And I told Mary that night, like, we were talking about it because I was on Skype. I was Skyping with my sister because she was over in Seattle, because she was at Emerald City Comic Con, and she was crying to me about when she met Stanley, and he, like, fangirled over her cosplay. But we were fangirling together, and I told my sister and Mary, and I was like, I'm gonna tell Jared about how he's a fucking asshole, and Jensen is going to agree with me. Me and Bay are the same. Like, oh my god. And also, we have the same hair color. Um, so I was just like, that's because, and then Jensen's like, that's because he is one. And we're like, ah, and I'm like, I called it. And then they like all gave me hugs, and then we like left, and Jared and Jensen were just so sweet. I love them. But oh my god, I love them all so much, and they're so perfect. Oh my god, I just remembered about my Richard photo op. Rob was sitting in the back just giggling on his phone the whole time. Robert, you're such a beautiful soul, and I love you. But anyways, they're all so beautiful, and I hope everyone at some point in their lives gets to meet them. But are they really worth $300 to meet? Yes, no, maybe. I mean, maybe if you weren't so expensive. But anyways, they were wonderful. And then their panel was hilarious. I really wish people would have stopped asking stupid freaking questions. Jensen told us how he really misses Demon Dean, and he wished he could have been him like the whole season, and all of us were like, us too, babe. Demon Dean forever. And oh my god, I'm so excited about next year when I go as Demon Dean. Like, I have a first blade. I'm so excited. I'm gonna try to get black contacts. Like, yeah. So yeah, that was my experience with the boys, and I love them so much. They're perfect. They're so beautiful. Yeah. I can't really think of what else to say other than I miss them, and I cry over it constantly. Oh. I might not get a photo op with them next year, though. I might if Allie comes. If Allie comes, then we're getting a Jensen photo op. Got that, Allie? If you come to CCon, we're getting a Jensen photo op. Because I get autographs with them next year, so. I don't know. Okay. I think this is it. This is it for my CCon feels now. I'm done.